Whether you call it overeating, emotional eating, a food addiction, compulsive eating, a food problem, or some other name, I'm going to tell you right now exactly what's necessary to permanently end your struggles with food and why traditional approaches haven't worked for millions of people. Most proposed solutions attempt to deal with the symptoms, namely the weight people gain when they eat emotionally. These proposed solutions include a wide variety of diets, special eating plans like Jenny Craig, inpatient facilities, exercise programs, pills to kill appetite, pills to change metabolism, 12-step programs, and on and on. On his television show, Dr. Oz tried to scare obese people into stopping their emotional eating by graphically displaying the medical consequences of their behavior. The reason these plans for dealing with the obesity epidemic ultimately fail is that all of them ignore the source of the problem, a conditioned obsessive need to eat in order to deal with negative emotions and to attain specific rewards. The first type of conditioning is emotional triggers. The primary cause of emotional eating is emotional triggers, usually negative emotions such as anxiety, feeling unlovable, feeling angry, feeling bored. At some point in life, an emotional eater ate and experienced either a comfort, a pleasurable distraction from the negative feeling, and/or a calming sensation. After that sequence happened a few times, the negative emotion got conditioned to result in an obsessive need to eat because eating relieved the discomfort of the negative feeling. The negative emotion became an unconscious and automatic trigger for the eating. Graphically, it looks like this. Negative emotion plus accidental eating results in a pleasurable distraction, times repetition results in conditioning. Negative emotion results in an obsessive need to eat. In other words, when a negative feeling is followed by normal eating, and that eating produces a pleasurable distraction or a sense of calming, and that sequence happens repeatedly, eating gets transformed from an activity we engage in only when we're hungry to a compulsion that gets triggered when that negative feeling is experienced in order to gain the pleasurable distraction. The second type of conditioning, to gain a reward. There's a second type of conditioning involved in emotional eating. This occurs when eating is consistently followed by some type of reward, resulting in a compulsive need to eat whenever those rewards are desired. Some typical rewards include the desire to celebrate, the desire to give oneself pleasure, and wanting to be in control. In other words, rewards have been conditioned so that desiring them will result in a compulsive need to eat. Graphically, it looks like this. Eating results in a reward times repetition results in conditioning. The desire for the reward results in the obsessive need to eat. I created the Lefko behavioral deconditioning process specifically to decondition these two types of conditioning that are responsible for emotional eating. Please go to emotionaleatingvideo.com to learn how that process works. Beliefs are a secondary cause of emotional eating. In most cases, emotional eating beliefs are a secondary cause. Some typical beliefs that lead to emotional eating include, to lose weight, you can't eat anything bad. The way to keep food from running my life, like it did my mom's, is to eat whatever I want to eat. If I don't eat when there's food around, there won't be any later. Eating's a way to not be alone. The best way to avoid sex is to be heavy, so that men wouldn't be interested in me. Although the elimination of some beliefs might be required to totally eliminate someone's emotional eating, conditioning is the primary cause of the problem. Other learning theories. There are other theories psychologists could use to explain the conditioning or learning that I contend causes emotional eating, including information processing theory and behavioral theory. Each theory comes at learning or conditioning in a totally different way than I do. If either theory is both an explanation for how emotional eating becomes an unconscious, automatic, obsessive behavior that emotional eaters are helpless to overcome on their own, and a technique for effectively stopping that behavior, I'm not aware of it. The problems can be overcome. Although the twin problems of obesity and overweight are the result of more factors than emotional eating, if people were not conditioned to eat when they weren't hungry, they'd gain far fewer pounds. The Lefkoe deconditioning process quickly, easily, and permanently deconditions that conditioning. Now let's find a way to make it available to the hundreds of millions of people who need it desperately. How to use this information to improve your life. Do you eat for emotional reasons? In other words, do you eat when you aren't hungry and/or when you're full because of strong negative feelings? If you do, for more details, please read my book, The Secret to Ending Overeating for Good. And you can find that at emotionaleatingvideo.com. Then watch yourself carefully for a week and notice the feeling you have when the urge to eat, when you aren't hungry, and write down in the box below the emotion. Those emotions will be a list of your emotional triggers that result in your obsessive need to eat. Thanks.